All right. Field trip games always, it was one of the highlights of the year for me. Former middle school teacher, PE teacher. I love that energy that they bring into Gill. And obviously today was a shell of normal Kids Day for us. We've sold this place out before, and but we talked about, hey, if it's only 10 that come here to see these amazing role models, to experience a college game, an arena like Gill, a campus like Oregon State, then it's worth it. It's worth it, and so I don't know how many we had, but it clearly wasn't like normal because of all the regulations that everybody has and all the hurdles that are in the way now of doing something like this. And so we were grateful for that, and all the people that involved, all the schools that brought their students were grateful, and for all the people at Oregon State that made it possible, we're grateful. Pacific played a great game today. I'm going to have nightmares of number 3. I think we all will, Anaya James was unbelievable today. She was just so poised. She seemed to make a play offensively and defensively whenever they needed it. They needed a bucket, they went to her. Their team played so confidently because of her, and she was the player of the game today. She impacted both ends. I love the way that we closed this game out. It was a game that certainly had frustrating parts for us. A lot of it was because of them. Part of it was just the clunkiness of us getting to know each other, in different environments, and the inexperience that we have together. Obviously, we're growing up quick. We've been in, this is really our 4th battle now where we've real gut check games for us. We're 2-2 in those games, but we've grown a ton in them. And so down the stretch today, I think it was 5 at one point, I think, right? They got the lead by 5, I think, in the 4th. And it was like, wow, this might not be our day. They hit another 3, another pull-up jumper, and geez, and so I just love the way that we executed down the stretch. We talk about winning time all the time, and we talk about you need to be perfect. You need, obviously, get stops, finish with a rebound, take care of the basketball, and then execute on the offensive end. And we did. We hit a couple of huge shots. Talia's 3 gave us the lead, and Ellie Mack around the basket was tough. Taylor had a great second half. We did a much better job of finding her, and really making them work at the rim. And so it's a great win considering all things, and I'm proud of the group for sticking with it and finding a way.
What was the contrast between down the stretch against Notre Dame and Florida and down the stretch here? Was there a difference in execution or something that you kind of like that you're able to get out this time?
Well, that one started, with about 8 minutes to go in the game, and today it started with about 3 minutes to go in the game. That's how it felt. It was like, okay, it's time to win, and the intensity just increased, and that's our team right now. We coast way too much. We play a little bit undisciplined, but we're learning, and so that's why I say I can't really be upset because we're young and we're figuring this thing out exactly what it takes, and we've got a lot of different people in different places, and I'm learning them and they're learning the system, and we're under fire doing it all, and so. What changed? Our intensity changed. We had an urgency on both ends of the floor. Communication hit a different level during both of those stretches. In this game, the difference was we got the stops that we needed, and we closed it out and won. That was the difference in the end. But they both had a very similar vibe, and it was in both stretches. That's what we all do this for. That's the team that I know this group is. This is a very good team with a ton of talent, a ton of character. They're just figuring themselves out competitively right now. What does it take? And in those 2 stretches that you just mentioned, we saw who we are. Now our challenge is to be that the whole time.
Talia, you've gone now 6 games in the point guard role. You mentioned right at the start of the season how much different that was going to be, what an adjustment it was going to be after last year. What have you kind of learned about yourself in this role and just being more of a facilitator for the offense and for the other 2 freshmen through 6 games so far?
Yeah, like you said, I think we've had stretches as a team, and both myself and the team, me like in the point guard role, I've had stretches where I've kind of turned it up a little bit more and filled that role a little bit better. But like you said, I'm still figuring it out. So putting that all together for 40 minutes is the challenge that's in front of me. And I think I'm getting better and have a lot of support in my teammates. So, yeah.
Yeah, Taylor, I think he's 9 points in about 2.5 minutes coming out of halftime there, something like that. Obviously, the first half, was that just like, was it a tactical thing, or were we just frustrated having to sit so much with the 2 fouls in the first half?
I needed to be what my team needed me for. And I knew that their weakness would be guarding our post. I mean, we have a very big advantage in the post position right now, and especially in this game. And so I just came out and was what my team needed me in the first half and what I needed to be in the second half. And I was mad at how the game was going, and just we were all in a corner, and so at that point you just have to play.
Coach, the fast break points, 29-6 for them, and a lot of that's off of turnovers. So the transition defense is maybe an issue today.
Yeah, I mean, that's I can only shake my head at that. That's actually, normally that number is 0 or 2. I'm not kidding you. If you look back at our box scores over the history of our program here, that's the only reason that we were in games from the beginning. It's the reason we've won like we have, is we are excellent in defensive transition. And today it was as if we didn't even know it was a thing. And I'm still shaking my head. I got to look at film, to be honest. We didn't have containment. They pushed the ball hard. They were able to advance it, and we didn't communicate well enough. And so it's one of the things that is just typically a staple that, we did not bring today. And so obviously an area we got to work a little harder on, and I need to prioritize it a little higher, I guess.
Greta made some big plays down the stretch, offensive rebounds to keep that couple possessions alive. And then she grabbed that defensive rebound in traffic there off of that last miss. She just seems to be a guard that's willing to just get in and do whatever.
Yeah,
Basketball player.
100%. When we were talking to Greta through the recruiting process, I said, what do you, I always like to hear their thoughts. So what position are you? She goes, well, whatever you need. And I go, what kind of role would you like? Whatever the team needs. And that's her first instinct. That's the first thing that came out, and it was not a hesitation. It's like, whatever you need. Today we ran her at the 1 a little bit, and gave her different looks. And so right now she's playing 3 positions as a true freshman. I know her head is spinning. It's got to spin a little bit. That's a lot of stuff for somebody in their first year. But she's capable. That motor that she brings to the gym every day is elite. She's such a great athlete, and she's so aggressive. So when she does make a mistake or hesitates and is a step slow in one thing or the next, she's quick to figure it out, and she plays so hard she can recover from it. But like I've told you guys, I'll never put the pressure to be McPivick, and I'll never say you're Cat, but But she really is kind of in the middle. I mean, she's that catch and shoot player, but she makes all the hustle plays that you need, and so she's a winner. And so we needed big plays down the stretch, and she came through. Big free throws as well.
Talia, what's your thought process as the shot clock's running down there? You guys are down, and you're under a minute to play, and the shot clock's almost down to nothing when that ball swings to you.
I kind of saw the play develop, and it was a great kick out and then 2 extra passes, so I couldn't have got a better look, and we did a good job finding the open player because they were kind of scrambling. But I knew how much time was on the clock, and I just knew we needed that shot. So, yeah, and I hadn't been shooting well before that, so kind of just knew I needed it.
Did they try to tell you that they were reviewing that at the end of the clock? It looked like the official came over to you right after that shot and said something. Was that?
No. They said that. Well, I tried to get a timeout, and they said that the clock didn't stop like it was supposed to in the last minute on the make, so they were correcting the clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking at the next couple of games for you guys, I mean, the Pac-12 plays coming up here, pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Are there specific things that you would like to clean up before you hit the grind conference play? I know probably everything is the easy answer there, but is there anything specifically that you've earmarked over the last 3 or 4 is like that's one particular
Yeah, well, I think taking care of the ball. I mean, that's number one right now. We're a little careless, with the basketball, and so that plagued us, in Daytona in both games. Had a chance to win in both, really. I mean, obviously Michigan put us away in the final minute, but we got back and tied that game in the fourth. I think I had 24 turnovers in that game, then 21 against Notre Dame, and so that just comes with time together, and so just reps is all we need. That's all this group needs. I mean, we're on schedule. We're on pace. I mean, you look at a year ago, we had all these new faces, and, it took us a while to grow together, and that's what it does. I mean, we just look back to the Michigan. I mean, Michigan's got, 4 seniors in their starting lineup and a junior. Their junior's an All-American, and it felt like that. It was like this team knows exactly what they're doing. They know exactly where to go. They know exactly who we are. And we got 3 freshmen out there and a sophomore and a third-year sophomore, playing. And so that takes some time, A year ago, about game 12, everything clicked, and from that point forward, it took a Final Four team to beat us. I think this team's on the same schedule. I think that's just where we are. It's not, you look around, it's not a lack of talent. This team's got talent. It's a lack of knowing exactly what to do at each moment and communicating just more efficiently and truly understanding what it takes. And I think we're on pace for that. And so 5 games, 5 more opportunities to continue just to grow together, fine-tune things. We'll be ready.
Taylor, as the mainstay in the front court here, what's it just kind of been like having to work through that chemistry? I mean, not just you, this year, last year, you and Kennedy know each other, but she didn't play at all last season. So how much has that had to change between not just the freshmen in the backcourt, but also getting Kennedy back and kind of relearning how to play with each other in games like this?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it is a very new team, and I mean, more reps as much as we possibly can, and making sure that we're sharp in practice, and that'll lead to sharpness in games, and just making sure that we're composed and that we have the confidence that we need to execute. And down the stretch, that's what we have been doing, so we need to start to do that earlier in the game. And I think that comes from confidence and more reps and just continuing to play together and grow together and just have the time together as a team.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Go Beavs.
Go Beavs.
Go Beavs.